two words, poop cruise. It's a documentary I watched last night on Netflix about a cruise ship that lost power at sea, and wow, did things go south quickly. So what I didn't know is you can't flush a toilet without power on a ship. So they lose power. They are at sea for several days before they get tugged back into shore. So you've got thousands of people day after day after day with no way to flush the toilet. It essentially becomes a floating petri dish, and thus the name Poop Cruise, which I thought was kind of creative. So if you've got 50 some minutes of your life, no pun intended, but that you want to flush down the toilet, it's pretty entertaining, and I think well worth the watch. I mention it. Why do we mention it? Because it highlights the importance of electricity, and when the lights go out, man, things can go south real fast, especially if you're floating in the middle of the ocean. But even if you're sitting in your living room and it's summer, it's hot out, and you don't have power, that becomes pretty annoying. You start to sweat and no AC, and you think, what about my freezer? Man, I've got all this money in meat and everything else that comes with just being able to flip a switch and enjoy the lights that we man, what a blessing to live in the nation that we live, that we have all of these amenities that are incredible, and we're not burning candles anymore like back in the Revolutionary period. But your costs is what we're talking about here on episode 3 of Jed Talks. I am your host, Jed Davis, the state representative of the 75th, and I am in Studio 75 here in Illinois, the United City of Yorkville, not too far outside of Chicago. But we are jumping right in today, right into the meat and potatoes. And if you've opened up your electric bill lately, you were probably like, whoa, you felt the shock, right? As your heart skips a beat and you look at the cost and think, what is happening and why are my costs skyrocketing? I posted about this on Facebook, and holy cow, go back and take a look at that roughly a week ago. In excess of 900 comments and over 600 shares. That is some insane engagement. So it's telling me people are irate, and rightfully so. You know why rightfully so? Because a lot of this is self-inflicted. I don't want you to miss this point because it's very important. Your cost of living here in Illinois, your cost of living is going up because of policies that are being passed by the General Assembly. None of these elected officials come home and say, we just raised your cost of living in Springfield. They instead talk about fluff and try to make you feel good, but they are literally taking the dagger and stabbing it in your back as they pillage your wallet, because the policies that we're passing is causing your cost of living to go through the roof. And we need to be transparent about it, because we need to change what is happening and put more money back into your pocket instead of robbing you year after year. So back in 2021, there's this bill called CEJA, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. Springfield loves acronyms, so the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act is CEJA for short. 2021, it had 83 yes votes. You only need 60 votes to pass a bill. Had 83 yes votes in the House. 13 of them were Republicans. So here's the largest rate increase in the history of Illinois. Again, largest rate increase in the history of Illinois, and we've got 13 Republican votes on it. Why? I have no idea. Why are we partnering with Democrats to pass policies that makes life harder for families in the state, and is causing part of the fleeing of the state and everything else that is wrong with Illinois? That is a topic for another day, but I think it's important to know, how did your senator vote? Look it up, go back, hold them accountable, put some pressure on them so that future votes can go better, or who knows, maybe they'll step aside and we'll get someone else into their seat. But 13 red votes on the largest rate increase in the history of Illinois. So what does CEJA do? Two things primarily. It does a whole heck of a lot, but two things that I really want to highlight. By 2030, your coal here in Illinois has to go. So no more coal generation in Illinois, even though in southern Illinois we have some of the cleanest coal plants literally in the entire world, but we need to close them by 2030. Same fate for gas. I always say, believe me, this isn't just me making a soundbite. They are coming for your gas stove. Gas power has to be gone by 2045, following suit of coal. So we are the first state in the nation to mandate a fossil-free grid without really having any plan. There's no real plan to back it up. And what do I mean by that? let's say it's 2030, and we just shuttered all the coal in Illinois. To replace that coal, let's use Kendall County, where I'm in Kendall County right now as an example. 205,000 of the most amazing farm ground almost in the entire nation is all around us. We are surrounded by it here in Illinois, and it is incredible farmland that is feeding people all over the globe. But hey, we're all about green, right? So we're closing coal, and we are going to pave over every inch of ground and put up solar panels in Kendall County. All 205,000 acres is gone. So how green is that really, that we are going to get rid of all of this farm production? You know how many people 205,000 acres of farmland will feed? I didn't run the math, but I can guarantee you it is a lot of people. But we're going to close coal, pave over all of that in the name of green energy and solar. But guess what? It's not enough. We still need another 75,000 acres somewhere. So Kendall County, see ya, and we're going to march into Grundy or LaSalle or some other nearby county, and we're going to chew up 280,000 acres of farmland, all in the name of green energy. Like, it doesn't even make sense when you actually sit here and just read the numbers. So that is CEJA. And it is causing your costs to go up, which I'll talk about how here in a moment. But that is what CEJA is doing. It also took some money and subsidized the nuclear industry to kind of save our nuclear plants, which is important. But there was a better deal if we would have held to our guns. Is that an expression? Probably one I shouldn't be using here in 2025, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. But hey, before we dig more into that and how it's rising our costs, let's just take a step back and say, where does our energy come from? How does it actually get to this office? How does it get to this computer? There are organizations here in America. We took the concept from Europe. They're called RTOs. More acronyms coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. But RTOs are regional transmission organizations. There are 7 of them in the nation, and they're comprised of several states, and they manage, they're nonprofits, and they manage and distribute the electrical supply to everyone within their area, their region. 2 of them make up Illinois. You've got PJM, which is Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland. PJM interconnection. They have 13 states plus Washington, D.C. So if you have a ComEd on your electric bill, so kind of like where I'm at right now, upwards into Chicago, that is coming from PJM. MISO supplies the majority of Illinois. So if you're an Ameren customer, which my district is so unique because here in my office is ComEd, and I drive 10 minutes into my hometown of Newark, and it's Ameren. So the line is like right through here, and Ameren's coming from MISO. What does that stand for again? The Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. They've got 15 states, so they've got PJM beat out by a couple states, although they do have like I said, District of Columbia is in PJM. But those are the entities that are managing the electrical distribution to all of the states within the region. So they're making sure that the electrical load that region is mandating is bearing, that they have the energy supply to meet it. So that is how Ameren and ComEd get their electricity to then send it on to you guys. They're kind of the managers. Some of it generates, some of it don't, but they're the managers of that flow. So the large RTO takes electricity from everywhere within its region and bundles it all up and ships it out the door. And those costs are going up here in Illinois. And it's like, why? Why are those costs going up? Well, remember, CEJA. So the market isn't like waiting for the day to come. The market reacts on the future. Anyone who's invested at any moment in time through any kind of organization, Apple, Amazon, Disney, I'm just kind of naming the big ones, but the market, their stock prices are dictated a little bit by the here and now, but a lot of it is on the predictions of what is coming in the future. And we've told investors that, guess what? Don't come to Illinois. We're not investing in coal and natural gas. We are shuttering those facilities. And instead, we're relying on stuff that, in my opinion, isn't real reliable. Again, the 280,000 acres isn't even practical for the state of Illinois. So we're using a Band-Aid that really doesn't even exist yet. We're hoping that it catches up in time. Why the government is playing kingmaker in that is wrong, right? We're involving ourselves into private businesses and mandating technology that isn't even there yet. And that, in essence, is almost called communism. Like when you start mandating stuff and you're wondering why your cost of living is going through the roof, get out of the way, government, and watch stuff take care of itself and rates decrease. I can go down a hole. My heart just wants to get pulled into that conversation, but I'm pumping the brakes a little, and we're going to get back on topic of, we've told the market that the doors are shutting. So they are preparing now. They're not going to wait till 2030. The auction, this is the proof is in the numbers. The auction in MISO, the supply prices for Illinois went through the roof. It used to be $30 for a megawatt per day. So $30 per megawatt per day. It is now, are you ready for this? $30 is where we were. It is now $666.50. It has gone up 20 times because we know, they know what the future looks like in Illinois, and they're paving the way and starting to prep. Wow, does that suck? Man, this is just not right. And I don't know, we need a wake-up call, and we need to get the message out, because red or blue, these are policies that are hurting your pocketbook, and more importantly, independent voter, which there's more of them, more people that vote in general elections that are in either party voting in primaries. This message will resonate with them, and we can win votes if we can stop being the 13 that are voting on the bad policies. But if we can get our stuff together as a party, we can win votes here in Illinois, because the content is rich all around us, and it is happening in real time, and it is impacting families as we speak. This isn't some theoretical 900 plus comments, 600 plus shares. This is happening right here and now as election season ramps up. So it is a shame. Man, I am sorry that this is happening. I'm flipping through my notes, making sure I don't miss anything. Here's the hypocrisy into all of it. This is just kind of saddens my heart. Because here's the reality. So we are saying no more coal, 2030, no more natural gas, 2045. Well, guess what? PJM and MISO, they don't care. They don't care what we do here in Illinois. They'll adjust the rates as needed, and you'll pay the price. We'll pay the piper here. But we are importing here. Again, you almost can't make this up. So I just want you to get this point, which is why I'm slowing down a little. Energy in the United States is still coming from natural gas, is still coming from coal. When we make these policies in Illinois and we shutter them, and it's 2032, guess what? There's still coal being generated all over this nation, and we're going to import it right back into Illinois through MISO and PJM, because they are responsible to get us the electrical supply that we need. We don't have a viable source. 280,000 acres of solar panels is not a reasonable or viable source for the replacement. So they'll make sure that they backfill what we're creating, and they're going to backfill it through coal and gas. So we are closing, get this point, we are closing jobs here in Illinois that are putting food on families' tables in some of the cleanest coal plants in the entire globe, to feel good about green energy, even though that means we have to wipe out hundreds of thousands of acres of farm ground, prime farm ground, that is feeding families all over the globe. Hope that makes sense. We are shuttering all of that, only to then take all of those jobs and push them into other states and buy energy back into the state of Illinois. What the heck are we doing? Does any of that make any sense to anyone? Because then we, the General Assembly, and some politician that doesn't have their head screwed on straight, that we can feel good about ourselves, and we are helping the environment, even though we're taking our jobs, flushing them down the toilet, and then importing the same energy that we just banned in Illinois. So we're still powering our lights, our phones, our computers, our furnaces, everything. We're powering it with the same stuff that we just banned, but we're buying it from other states at a higher rate. Help it make sense. Please help it make sense, because this is bad policy. Horrific. It is the largest rate increase in the history of Illinois. Your electric bill. It's not just a bill, it is a receipt for the policies that are coming out of Springfield. And we need to take those receipts to Springfield and put pressure. I'm going to file a bill or two or three on this very issue for the upcoming session. We need to reverse these policies. We need Springfield to wake up and remember that we don't represent some ideal out there that's floating in the ether of some political party. We represent working families that need to put food on their table, pay tuition for their kids to get a better life as they go to school and to college, and provide everything that goes in. You're a parent. A lot of you are parents. It is expensive to raise a family. So why are we forgetting that as politicians? Why are we forgetting that as a General Assembly? We should be partnering with you and helping you thrive. And instead, we are working against you. You're like a salmon swimming upstream, and the General Assembly is a roaring current, pushing you back, wearing you out, making you exhausted, and raising your cost of living through this absolute nonsense called CEJA. And then we just continue to talk about more and more and doubling down and all of this policy into the years ahead. Things that the proposals are worse that are on the table. So again, we need the jolt to happen, not just when you open your electric bill, but we need it to happen in the halls of Springfield and in the offices of these elected officials, because this is enough. And I'm not going to rail it anymore. But man, I'm filing bills. We're going to put pressure on, and we need to message this because it is a winning message. Help it make sense, and let's partner. For the love, please listen. If you are an elected official listening to this podcast, please think about the people of Illinois, because those are the people you serve, not some pious idea. We serve the families of the great state of Illinois. Thank you for listening.